Hello everybody, welcome back for another sketch sesh here on YouTube. These sketch seshes, it's hard to say, are all about telling you what's going on with the Making Art Everyday drawing challenge that I run. I've been running this challenge for 6 years now. It's been a really long time. And it's been really amazing. And yeah, so during these sessions, I get to tell you about the new theme. We do a new, well, let me tell you about Making Art Every Day in case you're new around here. So Making Art Every Day is a series of daily drawing prompts, tutorials, and motivation, all with the goal of helping you nurture your creative practice. And a lot of my tutorials are all based in Procreate, but it doesn't really matter what art medium you use. You can join in with the prompts and make whatever kind of art you want. So thank you for being here. So we're making art every day. Every month we pick a theme, and all the month's prompts are based on that theme. And I'm excited to tell you about what we've got going on for September. So September's theme for Making Art Every Day is career fair. So this theme was inspired by so many of you who have working at your art skills and just trying new things and just kind of building up your skills and are maybe ready to make the jump into building a career based around your art practice. So that's kind of the inspiration behind the theme. And before we get more into it, I always like to say this because a lot of what I do and what I teach and what I'm a huge advocate for is making art for the sake of joy, just doing it because it brings you joy. So you don't have to, just because you have skills and you're really good at making art doesn't mean you have to make money with that. It's worth your time just to do it because it makes you happy. So I always like to say that when we get into the business thing, because a lot of people kind of get into that mindset. They're like, oh, well, I have these skills, I have to do something with it. And sometimes that can take away from the joy. So it's just a personal choice, whether you want to do, which avenue you want to go to. And one of the things I think is important to think about kind of going into this month is what is your why? What is the reason you make art? Is it just because you love it and makes you happy and it's an enjoyable way for you to spend your time or practice self-expression? Or is it a part of a bigger path, you want to start a career path with it? So I think going into this month, just kind of spending some time thinking about, that and, what is your why? Why do you do this? Will really help you with the motivation in whatever avenue you go through. So, but all that being said, we have a really exciting month lined up for our career fair. Not only do we have our career fair, career themed Making Art Every Day prompts, but we also have a whole bunch of live events, tutorials. I have some guest speakers coming to Art Makers Club and more. It's just a really, really fun month with a lot of stuff packed in there. Really great resources for you guys. So I'm going to tell you about everything that's going on, and then we'll look at the prompts, and then after that I pick one of the prompts and I just draw it on the fly. That's the sketch sesh part of this. I don't have it planned out. We just kind of make it up as I go. So yeah, let's go ahead and I'll tell you kind of some of the things that are going on this month. So I'm going to go ahead and switch you down to my iPad here. Okay, so this is the Making Art Every Day page. You can access this at makingarteveryday.com, and this is kind of your home base for all the drawing prompts. You can go here and see the prompts and find tutorials and things like that, learn about the theme. But I wanted to start you off in this little section here, which is our career fair schedule. So these are all the fun things that we've got going on this month. So of course you're here right now. We're doing the sketch sesh here on YouTube. On September 5th, I'm inviting my friend Stacy Bloomfield to come into Art Makers Club, and she's going to give a little talk on careers in illustration. So this talk is going to be, for the people who are curious about what kinds of ways that they can make money with their art, and she's going to give some information on that to hopefully inspire your journey and give you some ideas about the possibilities for careers in illustration. On September 10th, we are doing our live tutorial. We do one every month in Art Makers Club, and I'm going to be teaching you how to do repeating patterns. And I'll actually show you the artwork that I've been working on for this. It's super cute. I'm doing this little bow inspired pattern in the club. And this is actually based on one of our Making Art Every Day prompts. We have a whole week on trends, and this is one of them. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then on September 19th, I have another guest speaker. My friend Mabel Tan is coming to Art Makers Club, and she is going to be giving a talk on surface design. She's going to be telling us like what is surface design, what kind of ways to, if you want to get into that field, like what should you focus your art making practice on, and just kind of like her creative process. So I think it's going to be a really interesting talk from Mabel, and I'm really excited to have her and Stacy come into the club. And then on September 27th, we have two events actually. The first, this one's really, really exciting. I'm gonna be doing a Skillshare live session, and this is gonna be all about Procreate brushes. I've been wanting to talk about this topic for a long time, or like do a class on it, so I'm really excited that this is happening. So basically, I'm gonna talk to you, well, let me frame it this way. If you ever like get overwhelmed with Procreate brushes, and you never know which ones to pick, this is going to help you out a ton. So I'm going to talk to you about kind of the different categories of brushes, the different qualities to look for in a brush, and what what uses that type of brush would have, like what part of your illustrations you would use that for. So it's going to give you a lot of information about being really smart with your brush choices. And then we're going to do a draw along where we're going to draw this cute little illustration. Let's see, this little snail, so cute. And I'm going to walk you through an entire drawing workflow from sketch to final details, using a free sample pack of some of my brushes from Bardo Brush. So I put together this sample pack with some of my favorite brushes from my different brush sets, and so that is going to be given to the students of this session. And what's best about this is the sample pack's free, of course, but the session is also free. So you should definitely sign up, grab a ticket. You can click right here on the link from this page and grab your ticket. Highly recommend attending. It's all free. And I'm excited to talk to you about Procreate brushes so you can get smart with your brush selection. And then the other event, I'm doing two that day, but the other event is in Art Makers Club. We're doing an artwork advice session, and this is where you can submit a piece of artwork, and then you can ask questions or whatever you want advice on, and then I will give you some advice. And a lot of times I draw over things to kind of, explain what I'm talking about and things like that. Those are always full of really great information. So that's a really fun event in Art Makers Club. So as you can see, we have a lot going on this month. I think it's going to be really great. I'm really excited to, kind of shed some light on this topic we don't usually talk about in our realm here with Making Art Every Day. So yeah, I hope you can join us for some of these events. It'll be a lot of fun. Okay.
And someone asked, do you have to be a member of Skillshare to see the Procreate brush video live?
No, so that is going to be free for all to join. So you don't have to be a member to join. Just go ahead and grab a ticket, and then you'll be emailed information about how to join, and it'll be great. It's going to be fun. I'm excited.
Free brushes, free session,
yeah,
100%.
Absolutely. Okay, I think that's it for the schedule. And again, you can get links to all of that right here on the Making Art Every Day page. Okay, let's talk about the prompts. So down here are our Making Art Every Day prompts. And instead of showing you them here, I'm gonna actually pop over into Procreate, and I'm gonna show you them in our drawing journal. So every month we create this amazing little drawing journal for you that you can download on this page. Right here, you can download it, and it's a Procreate file. So when you open it up in Procreate, you can tap through these little thumbnails to get from page to page, and this gives you a ton of information about the month, as well as some ways for you to plan out your month and other things I'll show you. So we start off with just kind of like an introduction about what this month is about, and then down here we have how to approach this month's prompts. So there's a little section for each week. So the very first prompt is, I'll skip over to that really quick, a self-portrait of you in your dream career. And I think that's such a cool way to start this month out, like just kind of imagining you know, what your dream career might be. And then it doesn't have to be art-based. It could be something else, like whatever or it could be what you wanted to be when you were a little kid. Like it could be anything. So I think that's a fun way to kind of start off this month. And then our next week we have tools of the trade. We're going to be drawing art supplies. That's really fun. The week after that, we've got Picture Book Illustrator. I'm just going to skip over to the prompts, and then I can talk to you about them here. So tools of the trade, Picture Book Illustrator. So you're kind of putting yourself in the shoes of like a children's book illustrator or book illustrator. And we've got some kind of like the classic things you might see in children's literature. So they're good things to practice if you want to get into, you know, drawing children's literature. These might be some of the things you'll draw as an illustrator. The next week is trends, and this week is really fun. These are just kind of some things that we've noticed are like kind of trending in the world of art licensing, and you know, things like that. So we've got some really fun prompts there. I do want to point out this one. I just noticed this right before we started the session. Number 22 is repeat patterns, which is actually number 23. This prompt, which I fixed on the website, is supposed to be retro psychedelic. So I'm going to fix it on everything, and if you want to download the journal again, you can, but I'll fix it in there. But these are really fun, and you can do like a pattern out of these. You could just do like a little spot illustration inspired by these. Like you can do whatever you want with these kind of like motifs that are a part of these trends. Really fun. And then finally, the last week is art licensing. And we have these kind of like product-based prompts. And there's a couple ways that you could approach these. That you could either, you could draw the thing, like you could draw a mug, or you could draw, you know, wrapping paper, you could draw a gift. You could take it literally and just draw that thing. Or what I think would be really cool is if you could imagine maybe some of your artwork on one of these products. So if you've done some like patterns or something from Trends Week, it might be cool to imagine what it might look like as a mug design or as a part of a calendar. So you could draw that and put your art in it. You could even just look for like a mock-up on the internet, you know, and like mock up your artwork in something, and that like you don't have to draw every day. Like that's a part of your creative practice, like exploring the possibilities of what your art could be. So that could be an option in a way that you could approach, you know, art licensing week. So those are all our prompts for September. I hope you're as excited about them as I am. I think it's going to be really fun to explore, you know, what kind of careers and illustrations there are out there and some of the things that go along with that. Going back, so this explains all that I just said. This is our schedule, so kind of what I showed you earlier. And then our prompts. And the cool thing about this prompts page is you can actually mark it all up and kind of highlight some of your favorite prompts. So if you go here on this page where it says, or this layer that says highlight faves, you can, you know, grab a brush. I'm just gonna grab whatever random brush, and you can start like highlighting. Ooh, maybe not that color. I'll get like a yellow. You can like highlight the ones that you're excited to draw. You can cross them off as you draw them. So you kind of mark this up and put some of your ideas down for what you want to do for these different prompts. You could write in the margins. Like I've seen people do all kinds of stuff. There's a little instructions that kind of gives you some ideas. And then we've got some goal setting. So you can kind of set some goals and intentions for the month, and you can write that in. We've got some ideas for that. Here is the scrapbook where you can input some of your artwork you've made this month, and you'll have a nice little record of your progress. And then finally, we have this reflection page with some, so we do specific questions each month that kind of relate to what we learned or explored that month. So like, are there any art careers you're curious to explore? What skills do you think would help to do that? How can you incorporate those skills into your drawing practice? So those sort of questions, and I always highly, highly recommend taking the time at the end of the month to spend a little time reflecting, because it's really important to your progress. So that is the drawing journal. Whew, that was a lot. Thanks for sticking with me. And I think that's it that I wanted to cover for like what's going on this month. So at this point in the session, I'm going to switch gears to the drawing side of things. I'm going to pick a prompt, and then I am going to draw it. So I'm going to tap over here to our prompts page. And I think I wanted to, like, I was really interested in doing one from the tools of the trade. And I've drawn a lot of these things before, obviously you can see. This artwork actually comes from my Kickstart Your Creativity course. It's like the last lesson in that course, and that's such a fun course. But I really want to do the like ink bottle and dip pen. I really love the aesthetic of ink bottles. So I think that's what I'm going to sketch out today, and maybe get to the, I don't know if I'm going to color, maybe just do like a black and white piece. I don't know. So I'm going to do the ink bottle and dip pen. So on the Making Art Everyday page.
We got a great
yes.
question. I'm just curious. Why are sardines in the trendy section?
So they're like a trending, I'm trying to explain this right, like imagery when it comes to art licensing. I think that if you start like looking around, like going to Target and seeing what kind of products are available out there, or even just what like a lot of people are posting images of online, sardines is one of those things that has been coming up again and again. I feel like it's kind of going out because it's starting to get really saturated. Like once you start seeing it once, you'll start seeing it all over the place. But the sardine can, like the fish tin, that's what's really trendy, and you see it all the time. So keep your eyes peeled because you might see that start to appear on things. And a good, if you want to start thinking about trends, like you can go to Target, go and see what kind of like motifs and imagery you see again and again. I will say by the time it's in a place like Target, it's probably, starting to die out because that's like such a mass-produced kind of place. But yeah, these are some kind of things that we've been noticing that are popping up all over the place. Okay, so, well, what was I saying? I was saying on this page. Okay, so when you are, okay, I'm gonna go back to Procreate. I'm gonna open up a Procreate file. I usually do a canvas that's, I'm gonna do a vertical canvas this time. It's 2800 by 3500 pixels is my vertical canvas. And then for Making Art Everyday prompts, I like to drag up the dock and put Safari over on this side, like this. Just drag it over, and then resize it down, and then resize it down. Oh, here, I'll take them. Jeff just went in the house and brought me these. This is what we're talking about, like the little sardine can artwork. And they're so cute. Like, I don't really eat this stuff. Jeff likes it, but I'm not. Like, I don't really eat this stuff. But I like want to have all the tins because they're always so beautiful. Like, look at how beautiful this one is. Yeah, if you ever get a chance to go to a store and look at the sardine can art, it's really pretty. So anyways, okay, so then I have the prompts page over here on this side. And then down here, we've got all the prompts. Now, normally you can click on one of these prompts and it's gonna go to an image search with like basically an image search for that thing. So be a Google image search for ink bottle dip pen. Unfortunately, I don't have these linked up yet. I have to link them up. So I'm gonna do that after this and get them all linked up for you. But that's normally what you do. But even if you don't have that, like what I would do if I don't know how to draw something is I just like search for it. So ink bottle, I'm gonna search for ink bottle. And then I'm gonna go to images and I'm gonna take a peek and see like what kind of shapes the bottles are. Like this is kind of a fun shape here, where it goes like that and out. You know, there's a lot of rectangular ones, but I don't wanna do that. I wanna do something more interesting. That's kind of cool, or like that's kind of cool. So I'm just kind of like getting some ideas, you know, about what kind of shapes. I love these, like, this is kind of like, I like that kind of old vintagey style. And sometimes I'll find one that's like, ooh, I want to draw that, or ooh, look at this, vintage ink bottle drawing. I think these are really cute. Okay, I'm gonna go back. So I'm just gonna pick a shape. What's the one that, I think I'm gonna do this shape right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a brush to sketch, I'll use my, where is the pencil box set? I have a brush called Sketching Pencil that I designed specifically for sketching. So I'm gonna use that one and just some black. And then I'm gonna kind of break this down into simple shapes. So I see like a rectangle here, so I'll start with that. And then I'm gonna draw another rectangle on top, like this, maybe a little lower. And then I can like connect the curvy part. So instead of trying to draw the curve outright, it's easier for me to like use like simple shapes and then add the curves to it. And eventually I'll add more curves and more details and things like that. So that's, and then we've got like a little foot. And I'm probably gonna make this a little more 3D in the end than flat like this is starting to look. Okay, then we've got kind of like a little lip, like that, and then a lid. I don't know how I want to do the lid. Okay, if I want to make this a little more curved, then I'm just gonna redraw everything just to have a little bit of a curve, like the same kind of curve on each line. Actually, you know what, before I do that, I have this really great brush called Ghost Erase, and I think that would be really handy for this situation. So in the pencil box set, I have this brush called Ghost Erase, and it's meant to like, oops, I use it with the eraser, not my brush, Ghost Erase. And it's meant to like do like a really light erasing. So if you find that you've like drawn it too dark, but you want to draw over it again, you can use this Ghost Erase and it will kind of like make everything a little bit lighter. So you can just, oops, let me go back to the brush. So you can just go over it again and your original sketch lines won't get in your way. Okay, so there's that little foot. And then we're gonna do the same here. So I'm all doing the same kind of angle curve so that looks accurate. And now I'm also starting to maybe add a little bit more detail to it, like these little edges. Oops, what's going on with my brush? Okay, there we go. Okay, and then we're gonna do the same kind of curve across there. And then the lid, I might actually do it with the lid off. Hey Jeff.
Yes.
Grab me some of the ink. I have ink bottles. I should have like, well, I didn't know I was gonna draw this, but they're in that shelf. Grab me some ink bottles. Okay, so this is probably gonna be like the, you know, the bottle as it's open without the lid on it. Because I might do the lid off to the side. I don't know. I'm trying to decide. Okay, so I've got some ink bottles here. Actually, maybe I'll do it with this like dropper. I think that maybe I'll do a lid with the dropper because that'd be kind of cool. And then I was trying to see without making a huge mess, like what the lid looks like. I'm not gonna, you can't see it at the right angle as me, but I'm gonna look at it over here. You know, it's got the like curly part that makes the lids turn on, little spiral thing. Okay, so I'm gonna keep the lid on because I think I like it with the little squeezy thing. So, yeah. And so I'm gonna draw a little circle inside. And that's gonna be where the squeezy part comes up. Oh, that looks too small. I'm gonna make it bigger. Yeah. Okay. And then I also like this one on the lid and like on this one too. They have like 3 little lines and then a space. Like this one has like 4 little lines and then a space. Ah, let's not drop it on my iPad. So maybe I'll do something like that. Cool. Okay. And now sketch in the sides. Okay. Now I need a label, so I'm just gonna draw, I'll draw the one that's shaped like that. Kind of following that same curve. Adding in a label in the middle. And then we get all graphic designy and I can decide like how I want my label to look like. I think I'm just gonna keep it really simple and just do like little cursive ink, something like that. And then maybe there's some like text at the bottom. Maybe I can do like black, like a little call out down here. Black. And then sometimes, I don't know if I'll do this in the end, but I'll do like a little like swirly do, and that sometimes can mean text, but I think it looks too much like the cursive. So I feel like I need like a cute brand name, like something made up. So if you guys have some ideas, I'll take them. Okay, so there's my little ink bottle. I don't know if I'm loving this. It looks like a baby bottle. I think I'm changing my mind, you guys. I'm gonna get I've got a pink eraser brush too in here, which is what, yeah. I changed my mind. Okay, yeah, I like it better now. Okay, now I really wanna look at some of those like vintagey ones. There was like a link to vintage ink bottle drawings just to see any other like little details that I might want to add to make it more interesting. Like maybe I'll play up this little lip here, add a little bit of that. I don't know. I could change the shape of the label even. Like this one has an interesting shape. I don't know. This one has some cool little like details. I actually have in Art Makers Club a really good course on packaging, and I have all these really great little ornaments and details, like a little inspo sheet of stuff that you can choose from to add. So I'm kind of remembering what some of those look like. So I'm gonna add some little swirls here. 1, 2, 3, just to make it a little more ornate. 1, 2, 3, and then maybe I'll make that like a border. That's cute. Ink, black. Cool. Okay, it's good. I like it. Okay, I'm gonna draw the dip part of the pen now, which is like a calligraphy pen essentially. So I'm just gonna search for, you could search for dip pen or calligraphy pen, but I'll see what comes up for dip pen. Yeah, I mean, it's essentially like a tapered shape with, you know, that thing on the end. So, okay, so now I'm thinking about like, do I want it to be here, kind of like floating like that? Do I want it to be like sitting across? You know, like laying down. I think I'm just gonna do it like kind of floating. I think that's cool. So I'm gonna start again with basic shapes. Do like a long rectangle. And then I'm gonna add the end of it. So that would be called the calligraphy nib. So I'm gonna search that. I have one over there too. I could just use my own stuff as references, but I'm not gonna make Jeff go over there and get it. So here's a good close-up of one. So it's kind of this like shape that flares out a little bit. Here, I'm gonna start with like a rectangle and draw off the rectangle. So it kind of flares out and then comes back in, maybe a little longer than that. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then there's like a split down the middle and then a little circle. This little split down the middle is what actually holds the ink when you're drawing with it. Okay, and now I can make this more tapered. Actually, I'm gonna open this in a new tab. No, I'm not. Oh well, I like that picture. There were some like little cute details on it that I liked. Maybe I'll come back to it. And then the pen part of it, like you really could do any shape you want, but I'll just make it simple and make it like a tapered shape. You could always use quick line or quick shape if you want to be a little more precise. Just hold your pencil down after you draw a line. So I can do that to make this kind of, make it tapered and make it look right. And then I'm gonna shrink the nib down a little bit just with my selection tool. There we go. And then I'm just gonna move the whole, the pen over. Okay. Cool. Yeah, there's my little ink bottle and my calligraphy pen. Now I want to look at this. Like this is what I was like saw on there. And I'm like, ooh, maybe I can add some of those little details. I don't know how they'll like translate to like final art, but I don't know, little swirlies or something. I don't know. I think I'll just do the swirlies only. Fun. Okay. So now that I've kind of got a sketch, I'm going to do like a really quick little rendering of this. I wanted to use kind of like an inky type pen to make it look like it's drawn with ink. And I have a few ones that will work. Let's see, mid-century, I have these mid-century Illustrator toolkit brushes that I have, and there's this one called, which one am I thinking of? I think it's just this one, Bleeding Edge. I'm gonna reduce the opacity of this sketch. Just create a new layer above that. So this one's really fun and like kind of dotty. That one's really cool. I also, in Art Makers Club, we have like these sets called the bonus brushes, and I have this one that I love called Skippy Ink Pen. It has kind of like some washy sort of texture in the middle of it, and that one's really fun. There's a similar one called Adored Ink Pen. Love the texture on that one. And in my watercolor one, I have a Watercolor Wonder, one of my sets, which is here. Watercolor tools, there's like a tools set in the Watercolor Wonder set. There's this sloppy ink pen, which is another similar kind of brush, but I think I'm gonna use that one. I'm gonna use sloppy ink pen from my Watercolor Wonder set to do all my kind of like ink drawing on this. So now I'm just basically gonna trace over what I already drew just with this brush. So. Okay, I'm going to draw a trace over that. So just trying to be a little more precise with all my lines right now, because this is the final artwork. It's pretty good. And if you ever like see this little, see how it like dips in right there? I don't like that. I often use the liquify tool to kind of fix things when I need to. So I just go to the push feature. Liquify is under adjustments, by the way. Reduce the size and then just like push it to where I want it. I don't want it to be too perfect because I want it to feel like it's hand done, so I'm not gonna correct too many things. Okay, so I'm gonna draw this part. Okay. Oops. I really like the texture on this brush. So like, it looks like bleeding ink. I really like it. Add a little kind of lip to the lid here that I kind of, I'm looking over here and I see this little like lip here. So I'm just gonna add that in. And then I'm gonna draw these as little, I don't know, little hot dog shapes, like little rounded lines at the top. Oh, I like that. Okay, and then I'm gonna draw in the top edge of the bottle. So it looks like those are kind of like, in my mind, maybe sticking out a little higher than the edge of the bottle. Little grip lines, we can call them. Yeah, I like it. Which means I probably would need some on the other side too. Oh, yeah. So I'm just gonna draw some little bumps, and that's gonna kind of represent the, you know, these little bumps that I just drew. I'm gonna scoot it over a little bit. Okay. Oh, forgot this edge. There we go. So there's my little lid. I think that looks cool. And try to decide if there's something on top of the lid or if it's just flat. I think I'll just leave it flat for now. And now I'm gonna draw my label. Just tracing over. You know what? I just had a thought, and it's now that haven't done it yet. It would be nice to have some of these little skips. Like if I drew this, let me just get the same brush to erase. What I mean is in some of the lines, if it were to like skip like that, it adds a little bit more interest, I think. Like the pen skipped a little bit. So I could always go back and, I don't know, add some of those. Maybe one right here. This is the creative process, friends. Sometimes you think of things later and you're like, ooh, it'd be cool if I did that. Yeah, I feel like that adds a lot of personality to the drawing. So I'm just gonna erase a few more spots and kind of like add those in. I love it. Okay, I'm gonna do my little label now. So I'm gonna do my swirls, little loops in all the corners. I'll do some intentional skips now that I know that I want to do that. And I'll do the label, little thing that says black. Let me make sure it's centered. I think that's centered. black. Love it. So here I'm trying out variable pressure, because in calligraphy, anytime you would draw down, it would be like a bigger, thicker stroke. So I'm seeing if I want to do that here. Maybe go a little smaller with my brush. Yeah. Ink. Oh, that looks so cool. I love it. I'm really happy with how that looks. Oops, hit my phone here. Now, one other cool thing that I could do if I wanted to is like start to add a little bit of like shading to this, just adding some lines to kind of almost like a like cross-hatching, engraving style. If I wanted to like just add some more detail. I think these kind of cool little ink drawings look good the more kind of details that you add to them. So we'll see how many of those I want to do. The closer the lines together are, the darker the shadow will look. So you could always layer on more, that sort of thing. Probably not going to do too many. But I really like the way, the effect that adds. So let me go ahead and do my nib pen, my dip pen. So I'm just tracing over my lines. Little circle. And now I want to do those little details, but I think it would be best to do like a smaller weight line. So I'm going to try and do like really light pressure, so that way they aren't too overpowering. So I'm just doing like super light pressure here, and then little swirls. Little swirl. I'm trying to make them like mirrored. Oh, I didn't leave very much room on this side, did I? Let's see, it's gonna go this way. Well, it's not perfect, but I like it. And then we're gonna have a little like metal part, that part of the pen. And then the line, the long line. I'm gonna make a little heavier pressure for this. It's a little wiggly, but I don't mind. I'm trying to decide if I want to like add the skips a little bit. Cool. Looks a little wonky right there. I'm going to just use my liquify to scooch that into position a little better. And then I'll add a little bit of those lines for shading. Just add some lines up and down. Kind of like doing them in not like consistent width apart from each other. It's kind of like very, just to kind of make it more interesting. So sometimes they're grouped closer together, sometimes they're not. I don't know about adding anything to this. I think I might just leave it. I might turn off my screen. It actually kind of looks like a carrot now. So you know what? I don't know. Maybe I won't do it on that. But what if I did lines like, I don't know, this way? Or I could just leave it. I don't know. I'm gonna just leave it. One other cool thing that I could do for this drawing as like a little finishing touch is add a little bit of kind of washy color behind it. So I turn my sketch off, create a layer underneath it, and then get a brush that would be good for like washy, inky.
What brush were you using before this?
Oh yes, this was Sloppy Ink Pen, and this is in Watercolor Wonder. So in fact, since I'm in Watercolor Wonder, I wonder if I could get a brush that would be good for that. Let me try that. Ooh, look at that. So this is Aquaflow from Watercolor Wonder. Now Watercolor Wonder actually has, here's on my iPad, these canvases that come with it that give it like some extra watercolor texture. So if I were to open up one of those, uh-oh. Oops, hopefully we still good, Jeff?
Yep.
Okay. Copy out this artwork I've already done. So I'm going to tap the layer and choose copy. Take it over to Watercolor Wonder canvas. Here on this layer, I can just swipe down with 3 fingers and choose paste. I'm not going to resize it. I might crop it in a little bit, but now I'm going to create a new layer. And it has this really beautiful watercolor texture, whereas without the canvas, it just looks a little more plain. It's still beautiful. I still love that texture, but I really like it with the canvas. So, oops, clear that up. Okay, so now if I wanted to like add some, you know, washy texture to it, this brush kind of has, like, the heavier you press down, the more it kind of gets blendy. So I'm just kind of doing it all in one continuous stroke here. And if I do like lighter pressure, I get like darker bits of ink here. Wonder if I'm like, what color is the top gonna be? Maybe I'll do, like layer on some strokes. I don't know. I don't want to lose my like line work, so maybe I'll leave it light that color, and then I'll do this. A little bit of that. Ooh, and now I'm like, what if I added a color? Because I can't help myself. With something really subtle. But why would there be a blue lid on a black ink bottle? I don't know. Should I leave it, guys? Maybe I'll just leave it. I think I like it just like kind of plain. But you could always play around. If you're following along and doing this with me, you could always play around with different colors. You could even do it a different color ink if you want. Ooh, you know what would be cool? Maybe a little, oh no, something like that. This looks like a brush, not a calligraphy, so maybe I'll go back to my, the ink pen, and it could like look like I'm drawing with the pen in ink. Maybe make it a little bigger. Yeah. Sure. Dots, I don't know. We spilled ink? No, I don't like that. Okay, I think that's good. I'm just gonna like crop this in a little bit, and then I'll be done. Cool. Well, there's my little ink bottle and dip pen following that prompt for making art every day. And I really think it's cute. I love it. I love this like kind of, you know, vintagey, inky style that almost looks like, you know, engraving kind of style. So I hope you had fun following along with me. If you drew with me, I'd love to see it. So if you are sharing your work on Instagram, you can tag me, Lisa Bardot or Bardot Brush or both. Yeah, so thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you are excited about Career Fair Month and all the prompts we have and all the events and speakers and tutorials. There's just a lot going on. So I hope you can make it to some of these events. I would love to see you there, and we're gonna learn a lot. It's gonna be great. So until next time, good luck with your prompts this month. I can't wait to see the artwork that you create using the Making Art Everyday prompts and beyond. And until next time, happy art making. Goodbye. Oh.